Yeah, I mean, obviously wasn't expecting that to happen, but yeah, it was surprising. But the reality is, if I make one or two of those saves, then I'm still playing in the game. So the only way I'm looking at it is how can I get better from that? How can make those saves that I've made all playoffs. How do I make them in that game at the start of the game? Give the guys a chance to get their feet under them. And as a goalie, that's your job. So I got to do better than that.
What's that experience like after that, having to sit next to, I think it was Ray Barrow there on the broadcast? I know he talked about that.
Yeah.
That had to be a tough experience.
Yeah, I was on the screen a lot more than I thought I should be. I don't know why they kept showing me. I'm like, I haven't moved in a half hour. So, yeah, it's just, it sucks. Like, it's embarrassing. It's, yeah, anytime you get pulled, doesn't matter if it's playoffs or if it's regular season, you just want to go right off the ice and crawl into your bed and not talk to anyone. So, especially in a moment like that, it's really embarrassing, yeah.
Pete said you were dealing with a little bit of an illness. How much did that affect you kind of throughout the playoff?
I don't think very much. Yeah, just for the first couple games of the conference final. But I mean, I'd rather be sick than what some of these guys are going through. So just no excuse there.
And then how was your balance? I know you love to play. How was your balance this year and in the playoffs, going optional skates and taking some days off when you felt like you needed to?
Yeah, it was. This is as healthy as I've ever felt. I feel great. I feel like I could play 40 more games. So I think the Reeser and our strength staff, I think they did a great job of telling me when to take my foot off the gas and when we have time to work and can put some good work in. So I think as I get older now, that's kind of what it's all about. Just you gotta work your ass off still, but it's got to be doing the right things in a smart way too.
Game 5, obviously, emotions are really high, especially when you get eliminated. Pete said he believes in you and he's no bigger fan, but he did point out that you've lost 6 of 7 against Edmonton, and that kind of played into his reasoning. So I guess as you think about all the things that have been said, is there any concern about your relationship moving forward working with him?
I mean, I think for me, it's just the whole experience. I think just I'm going to learn from it, and it's going to help me grow and be a better person, be a better goalie. My job is to stop the puck, and I feel like I'm one of the best in the world when I'm playing well doing that. So that's all I'm going to focus on. There's no all the extra stuff's just extra stuff to me. So I just if I go out there next year and I'm the best goalie in the world, it doesn't matter. One of you guys could be coaching and it doesn't matter. Like it's so yeah, just try to be the best I can be, learn from the experience and go from there.
Your position's a little bit different than the rest of the team, but how do you get to the next step as a team?
Yeah, I think it's a good question. I think we have it all in that room. So it's the only thing I really can do is stop more pucks. So I think for me, I played some of the best hockey of my life in the first 2 rounds, and I felt like I've done that the last 3 playoff rounds. But then it's, that just shows you goaltending in playoffs. Like you play the best hockey of your career for 2 rounds, and then you don't have a great round and you suck again. So it's how do I keep that going? Like how do I get over that hump personally? Whether it's, I didn't feel like fatigued, but as it gets going on, like how do you stay sharp that late into the season, that played that many games? So that's what I'm going to focus on, whether I need to, skate more, skate less, train more, train less, kind of figure it out from there. But I think, I feel like I'm like half of what I'm going to be one day as far as a goalie. So I think it doesn't even feel like close to where I can get, and it's up to me to change that and put the work in to get there.
Is it a weird job? Because you look at Carolina or Colorado or Winnipeg, and you're like, well, those are great teams, and they're all thinking, oh, we suck.
Yeah, it's exactly, yeah, it's tough. Like, in goaltending especially, there's no other position like it in the world. So I don't know why I decided to play goalie, but here we are. But yeah, that's how it goes. And I think it's good though. I think when you have a team like this and you want expectations, like you want the pressure because it means you're doing something good. People feel like you should win. So I'd rather put in all this work and be disappointed because we gave it a chance than be on a team that isn't even in the mix. So it's a great privilege to have, and it's gonna take every guy, coach, management, everyone to look at themselves and say, what can I do better to hopefully get back to that position, and then when we get that opportunity again, what can we do to break through?
Jake, you talk about the disappointment. Can you pull from any experience throughout your career going down to the youth ranks where you maybe felt some level of disappointment and responded?
Yeah, I think every year of my life, I haven't won the Stanley Cup or the NCAA tournament, so every year of my life's been disappointment, and I've bounced back and I've learned from it and I got better. And I think, when you go through, whatever in life or, bad stuff happens to people, but life is tough, and it just makes it, when you finally get that win, it makes it all worth it. So I think, hopefully, whether it's next year, whether it's 5 years from now, I'm looking at you guys, we just won the Stanley Cup, and I said, remember all that BS? That was all for this. So, yeah.
We talk a lot in the season about how playing your position is part mental.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think that, it's 82 games just to even have the privilege to go for the Stanley Cup,
Mm-hmm.
and then it's however many more in the postseason? Do you think that it might be more about like mental sharpness and acuity by the time you hit the third round?
Yeah, I think that definitely is a huge part of it. I think, yeah, like physically, my body feels great, but if you're not all there, it's who cares what body you're playing in. So I think that's a great point. And I haven't done a lot of like mental kind of training or whatever you want to call it, but I think that might be something I should look into, or all the guys. We're always trying to find ways to get better, and I got to change something if we're going to get through. So
we'll do 2 more questions for Jake. We have Tyler on deck.
Jake, you've faced 445 shots this playoffs, like 70 something more than the second most. Is there a change in like your mentality heading into a game where you're probably going to have about 30 shots on goal?
I think I'm fired up for it. It's great. It's like I'd rather that than 5 shots in the first. So it's fun, gets you into the game, and that's the thing. It's like that's why I hate like stats or analytics, and that's I don't hate it, but like there's teams are so different. Like 30 shots and then if you're asked the goalie, you'd be like, yeah, well, wasn't that tough? And then compared to a guy that had 16 and 10 of them are grade A's and the other 4 were through screens, and so it's I don't know why I started rambling about that, but yeah.
Jake, we've talked a lot about what goalies you've worked with, coaches you've worked with,
Mm-hmm.
Scott Wedgwood specifically.
Yeah.
How did your relationship develop with Casey on and off the ice this season?
Yeah. Like, I'm like the luckiest guy in the world with these goalies that I've been able to play with. So he's, in my opinion, he was one of the best goalies in the league this year too. So he if he wasn't signed here for 2 more years, there'd be a lot of teams calling him, I think. So we're very lucky to have him, and he's just, there's nothing better than when you feel like you and your goalie partner are really like in it together, and like if I make a big save, he's the first guy that's pounding his blocker on the boards, and he knows vice versa. So he's a great dude. He works his butt off. He, has grinded his whole career to be in the NHL, and he's a world-class goalie that probably should be playing a lot more than he is. So, and off the ice, he likes golf, so that means I'm going to like him. So he's a great guy.
Thanks, Jake.
Yep. See you guys.
Next.